Okay, Pops, we are back. Today we're going to be talking about Ford. They are going all in. And honestly, I'm a little bit concerned on my end. I don't know about you, but I think they're picking a fight that I don't know if they're going to win. But we're going to talk about it. They're really going all in on electric vehicles, Dad. I don't know if you read about this yet. I'll walk you through the article, but they're putting billions of dollars, the biggest capital investment Ford's ever made, into electric vehicles, trying to compete all out with Tesla and everyone else who's going in the EV direction.
Would that be like $11.4 billion?
They put a metric bleep ton of money
Yes,
into EVs.
yes. As we say in the car business, a bleep ton.
Yes. So we have the Ford F-150 Lightning that is just starting to get onto the road, which is pretty neat. It was released very recently.
Yes.
Back in May, I think, was when Ford announced it, and they got tons of orders for it and all that fun stuff. They're not waiting around over at Ford to see, hey, is that going to be a success or not? They're putting, you said it, $11.4 billion into two factories that they're producing. They expect 11,000 jobs to be created as a result of this. One is for EVs and batteries in Stanton, Tennessee. So that's an assembly plant. And then the other in Glendale, Kentucky, for more batteries and production of the cells for those batteries for Ford and for Lincoln, combined $11.4 billion.
Yeah, seems like they think that's the future. Kind of reminds me of a Kevin Costner movie with the line, "If they build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come." So they're betting their future that if they build EVs, people are going to come and buy them. And maybe they'll be right, maybe they'll be wrong. Seems like a hell of a bet. I'll tell you, it's great to be a CEO because you get to place that bet. And if you're right, you reap the benefits. And if you're wrong, well, you'll become the CEO of another company someday soon.
Okay, that is so well said. It's like, yeah, once you're in the position, you'll become another CEO. There was actually an analyst from Morgan Stanley. This is what they said. Even if these plants do not generate any positive free cash flow before the end of the decade, it's important that Ford sends the message to stakeholders and customers that it is taking zero-emission vehicles extremely seriously. I mean, that just sums up what you just said. Hey, we might not make money from this, but we take zero emissions seriously.
Yeah, we're taking it so seriously, we're willing to risk everything. And if we go bankrupt in the process, then we go bankrupt in the process. But at least we made the statement.
So I don't want to dive too deep onto that, but I think we should go down that tangent because Ford has been dealing with a slew of quality control issues. They're not the only manufacturer. I mean, GM is out there right now, and they're recalling bolts left and right. And Dad, you've shared in the past brand new vehicles. You've said it like throughout your 40-year career in retail automotive. You've said it, brand new vehicles, don't buy that first model year because they're figuring out the kinks. They're ironing things out, especially as we're moving to a totally new powertrain, right? Like this is no longer an ICE, internal combustion engine. This is battery operated. Like there's going to be issues, and that's somewhat inevitable. GM's a perfect example with the Bolt. Like the transition from internal combustion to EV is not going to be seamless, and it's definitely not going to be seamless when your blueprint isn't like a Tesla was. Like Tesla came up and existed to be just electric vehicles, not, internal combustion to electric. I'm nervous, like quality control issues already before this transition. The expectation that because we're moving in this new direction, there will probably also be quality control issues. And the fact that Ford's brand loyalty has been dropping consistently. Like more and more people are less and less loyal to Ford. This seems like a pretty risky bet if you asked me.
Well, I wasn't asking you, and neither was Jim Farley, but I agree with you. I think it is a risky bet. I'm thinking that they're thinking that EVs are really the way to go, and that they have to jump in all the way. You can't, they need to get as wet as they can get. So they need to jump in the pool, bite the bullet, and do whatever they need to do. Now, whether or not they actually have the quality control to manufacture these vehicles and keep them running and maintaining them and not having issues with them, their history would suggest, well, they don't. Now, that doesn't mean they can't overcome that. That doesn't mean that they can't hire some people that can address what the quality issues have been in the past when they've come out with new vehicles. But I wouldn't bet on it. They're venturing into a whole new realm. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm not saying they can do it. I'm saying if it were me, if I were a consumer, I would take a wait and see attitude and see what happens after the first, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years to make sure that they're actually producing the quality of vehicle that you would expect when you're going to be spending what it's going to take to buy a new electric vehicle.
So Ford expects 40% of their global fleet to be electric vehicles by 2030. Farley, the CEO, Jim Farley, has said that that transition could even go faster than what they've stated publicly. Bill Ford, who's still the company's executive chair of the board, said they're in a much different position than they were 10 years ago with regards to EVs. Yeah, remember when Tesla was just starting to come up? It wasn't like, hey, we all need to go compete with them. It was, they're going to be some niche player. We're going to stay in our lane. Well, look where we are now. Everyone's getting into that space. Bill Ford said, technology has progressed to the point where mass adoption is going to be very likely, he said. It's really a confluence of technology and also customer awareness. Thank you, Tesla. There's great pull from the Mach-E and Lightning from customers. Are there lots of questions we're going to have to answer along the way? Of course, but it's a huge stake in the ground for what we believe will be in the future, and we want to make sure we're at the forefront of that future. He said it right there. They're going for it. And if they're right, they're going to be huge. If they're wrong, they're going to be.
It's going to be huge. Either way, it's going to be huge. Either the bet's going to be paid off really, really well, or they're going to be scrambling and somebody's going to be looking to take over the Ford Motor Company.
This is like when I was in Vegas and I put all of my money on 00 on the roulette table.
Yes.
You think that bet paid off?
I'm pretty sure it didn't, because we wouldn't be filming this video today if we had.
I mean, all of my money, yeah, we'd probably.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd be,
yeah.
It was like $200. It was a waste of $200. I regret it now.
Yeah, well, let's hope that they're not wasting $11.4 billion. I'm sure they've looked at it. But the beauty of, as I said before, the beauty of being a CEO of a company is that you get to make decisions, whether you're right or you're wrong. They paid you, they brought you on board to make decisions. Some CEOs are visionaries, some are anything but. The vast majority fall into the anything but category. And so the likelihood that this works out is probably less than 50-50. And like I said, if it doesn't work out, guess what? Somebody else is going to hire him to be a CEO of their company, because that's just the way it works.
What type of CEO am I, Pops?
We're still in the exploration stages trying to figure that out.
Thanks for doing this, Dad. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about what Ford's doing. We'll also likely have a conversation going back on the YA community forum about this as well, so join us over there, link down below to that. Pops, thank you for hopping on. Thanks for talking Ford. Thanks for talking EVs. And thanks for talking CEOs.
My God, these are EVs, Fords, and CEOs are three of my favorite things.
Yeah. And roulette.
Yeah. No, blackjack really for me. But you can play roulette.
Thanks, Pops.
Thank you, handsome. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.